Hello students, welcome to the lecture on written communication, and after the lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the concept of written communication, discuss the goal of written communication, understand the media of written communication, explain the merits and demerits of written communication, define the planning business messages, understand the common etiquettes in written communication. Let us start with a brief introduction to written communication. Written communication is the process of communicating a message by creating a hard copy of message. Multiple types of written communications are used in the system development life cycle. The first type of written communication is letters or correspondence. There are different types of letters, each dependent on the purpose of communication. If the letter is intended for friends and family, it is generally written in a personal manner, which does not follow any structure or rule. These letters are intended to inform friends and family of new developments or events. The next type of letter is more formal. These type of letters are used in professional atmosphere. Based on Brousseau, Allred and Oliu, there are 9 categories of letter used in business. Written communication is the ability to use written language in a precise and accessible way in order to clearly express oneself to the intended audience. Many professionals spend a large proportion of their time writing, so effective written communication is an essential skill. The process of composing is an important aspect of written communication and involves planning and expressive language skills. These skills include the ability to formulate and articulate ideas, the rules of language, narrative skills, vocabulary, knowledge and use of syntax, and the ability to categorize and classify. Written communication is about formulating and articulating ideas into a clear and concise written document. Spelling, ensuring that words are spelled correctly. Grammar, correctly combining sequences of words to form coherent sentences. Punctuation, correctly using characters in written language to denote meaning and to indicate how a sentence should be read. Writing a range of documents to a high standard, including correspondence, emails and letters, reports, organizational marketing material, and taking notes in meetings. Writing a range of messages, including thoughts, arguments, instructions, summaries, and technical information. Developing an appropriate document structure with a clear layout and information presented in logical sequence to make it reader-friendly. Documents should be summarized into a bite-sized paragraph which captures the core messages. Developing an effective document style that makes good use of paragraphs, bullet points and headers, using words which present the messages in a direct and concise manner that can be easily understood by the target audience. Handwriting, when writing freehand, ensuring that handwriting is readable and presentable. Non-text, supporting written documents with graphs and images where appropriate. Students can improve and demonstrate their written communication through. Let us now discuss the concept of written communication. Written communication has great significance in today's business world. It is an innovative activity of the mind. Effective written communication is essential for preparing worthy promotional materials for business development. But writing is more unique and formal than speech. Effective writing involves careful choice of words, their organization in correct order in sentences formation, as well as cohesive composition of sentences. Also, writing is more valid and reliable than speech. But while speech is spontaneous, writing causes delay and takes time as feedback is not immediate. Writing communication involves any type of interaction that makes use of the written words. Communication is a key to any endeavor involving more than one person. Communicating through writing is essential in the modern world and is becoming ever more so as we participate in what is now commonly called the information age. In fact, written communication is the most common form of business communication. It is essential for small business owners and managers to develop effective writing communication skills and to encourage the same in all employees. The information age has altered the ways in which we communicate and placed an increasing emphasis on writing versus oral communication. The need to develop good writing skills is only highlighted by the fact that in the information age, it is not uncommon to have business relationships with customers and suppliers that are established and maintained exclusively through the use of written communication. In this environment, the words we write are very real representation of our companies and ourselves. The key to communication, of course, is to convey meaning in as accurate and concise a manner as possible. People do not read business memoranda for the pleasure of reading. They do so in order to receive instruction or information about which to base a decision or to take actions. Therefore, highly literary prose is not desirable in business writing. Overly formal prose may also be counterproductive by seeming stand-offish or simply wordy. A style of writing that is too informal can also convey an unintended message, namely that the subject matter is not serious or not taken seriously by the sender. A straightforward, courteous tone is usually the best choice, but one that may not come naturally without practice. Did you know? In 1900 BC, the Chinese independently developed their very style of writing. Let us discuss the goal or meaning of written communication. Each written communication has two objectives, a primary objective and a secondary objective. The primary objective is to accomplish the specific goal or purpose of the message. Be sure that the message is orderly, clear and complete. The second objective is the public relation goal or the goodwill factor. This objective means that the tone of the message should gain the trust and credibility of the reader. The tone should be warm and sincere. Importance of written communication in business. There are different forms of communication in business, such as verbal, non-verbal and written. Each of these communication forms is significant. However, written communication usually requires more thought and effort. Writing must be concise, informative and easy to read as both an informative and instructional tool. The importance of written communication in business is evident by a plethora of forms, manuals and materials that companies publish each day. Significance written communication can take the form of legal documents or manuals. For example, OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, outlines health and safety policies and procedures for industrial and commercial businesses. These documents ensure clarity among employees and minimize the chance for any misunderstanding. Identification written communication is also important for instructing employees on certain tasks and projects. For example, a boss may meet with an employee about a special project. He or she may hand the employee a list of tasks she wants completed for the day. The written instruction may inform the employee whom to contact for certain information. The boss may also indicate which items are most important so that the employee can prioritize his task. Function. Company managers must use written communication in the form of reports or presentation. For example, a marketing research manager will often analyze results from a survey in a report. She may also recommend certain strategies for the upper management based on consumer needs and preferences. Additionally, department directors often create written presentation booklets for employees who attend their meetings. Written presentations are an effective means of providing key information to other departments. Features. Written communication is also important for business advertising. Small companies need to promote their businesses to potential consumers and businesses' customers. Written advertisements include direct mail pieces such as sales letters and brochures, magazines display ads, flyers, internet ads and catalogs. Advertising is designed to attract attention then compel people to purchase products according to the advertising expert, Dave Dolak. Companies such as mail order or internet businesses often count exclusively on written advertisements for attracting customers. Moving on further, let us now discuss the media of written communication. There are many media of written communication. Letters. Letters are a written form of communication. These can be sent or received by individuals or organizations. Written messages in the form of letters can be delivered to the receivers through special messengers, post offices, or private couriers. This method is mostly used where face-to-face communication is difficult or other means are not easily available. It helps in keeping a record of the communication. The cost involved is low in this means of communication. Telegram. It is also a form of written communication by which messages can be sent quickly to the distant places. It is generally used when there is an urgency of communicating any important message. It transmits messages much faster than ordinary postal mail. This facility is available in all telegraph offices where on payment of specific fee we send our message. Charges are payable on the basis of number of words used in writing the message, including the address of the sender and the receiver's name. Hence, telegraphic messages are written in brief. Telegrams can be sent as ordinary or express. Express telegrams travel faster than ordinary telegram, for which extra charge is to be paid. To send telegrams to foreign countries, cablegrams are used. Telegrams can also be sent by using telephone, which is called as phonogram. Here, by ringing up the telegraph office through a telephone, the message can be recorded and later the telegraph office transmits the message to the receiver. Fax. Fax or facsimile is an electronic device that enables instant transmission of any matter, which may be handwritten or printed like letters, diagrams, graphs, sketches, etc. By using telephone lines, this machine sends the exact copy of the document to another fax machine at the receiving end. For sending any message, the document on which message, diagram or drawing is typed or drawn has to be put in the fax machine and the fax number, a telephone number, of the other party has to be dialed. Then the fax machine at the receiving end will instantly produce the replica of the matter. This is the most commonly used means of written communication in business. Did you know? Historically, letters have existed from the time of ancient India, ancient Egypt and Sumer through Rome, Greece and China up to the present day. Email. Electronic mail, popularly known as email, is modern mean of communication. The system makes use of electronic methods of transmitting and receiving information. In this case, individuals through the internet open an email account in their name from any ISP, that is Internet Service Provider. Pager. This is an instrument which can be used to receive any short messages from the sender at any point. Within a limited area, if anybody wants to send any message to a person who does not have any fixed workplace or he or she is in the motion, then the message can be sent through pager. The sender dials a telephone number and gives his message orally to the company operating the pager service. This message is transmitted by the company to the person possessing the pager. The message travels through air in the form of electronic signal, which is converted into written messages through pager. By reading that message, the receiver will take action immediately. Social media. Do we speak social? There is a lot of writing out there about the effects of social media on business, marketing, branding, and customer services. But what about how social media communications is impacting our written communications or even our oral communications? Anyone remember when email was going to destroy letter writing and even the art of writing altogether? Well, it did destroy letter writing, but did it really destroy the art of writing or just change it? The impact of social speak on the written word. The social web has changed the written word in a couple of key ways. First, writing is more concise. When we first heard of Twitter and its 140 character limit, most of us wondered how in word we could convey something meaningful in 25 to 30 words. Now we realize that Twitter pushes us to get to the essence of what we are trying to say. Second, use of different spelling and abbreviations. For instance, John came to me last night asking for help translating a text from his teenage daughter. What does TTYL stand for? He asked. Talk to you later, it replied. The strange thing was that it did not sense my own brain processing the translation. Instead, it immediately knew the answers in the same way it knew that casa means house without having to do the mental computing to get from a foreign word to a familiar one. Social. Spoken here, it is thought that one of the real impacts of social media communications on our general communication is that many of us tend to be much more revealing in business and personal communication than ever before. Somehow telling the world personal things and then exploring them on our blogs, on Facebook and on Twitter has become socially acceptable in many circles. Not everyone has caught the TMI, too much information, bug, but it did venture to guess that many of us are much less shocked by someone getting more personally revealing even in a business setting because, well, we read it first on their blog anyway. Social versus antisocial. In social settings or face-to-face interaction, there is a distressing attention deficit problem. Recently, it invited some female bloggers to a small gathering for a wine tasting and to get to know one another better. In the old days, if one was shy, then that person might sit to the side of the crowd and smile politely, hoping someone would include him or her. These days, those with social timidity will bury their noses in their mobile devices. It saw photographs of my gathering after the fact showing that a very prominent social media guru spent the entire time texting, not on the periphery of the group or in the hallway, but smack dab in the middle of the entire group.
On writing for social media. The first step in any communication project is to decide on strategy. And in the social media world, three primary strategies contend: broadcasting, interaction, and engagement. Broadcasting is, in essence, old-school public relations. You decide what you want to say and write it up in a press release. You then write a tweet that encourages the viewer to click through an attached link to the web page where your press release is. Although you may decide to monitor the response to a broadcast tweet, feedback does not necessarily guide your future actions. Your primary goal as a broadcaster is to blast your content out there and hope that somebody takes positive action as a result. The person who sends out your message is almost always anonymous, and the brand is focused on the company, not the individual team member who is doing the work. Interaction is a transactional approach to social media. It's basic customer service. Someone posts something about you, your organization, or your company, and you reactively respond. Once you address the concern, that's the end of the relationship. Think of a bot when you think of interactive social media. Someone spits out a sentence, your bot analyzes it and answers. Interactors are more likely to catalog transaction types, look for trending topics and issues. This information might guide a conversation on process improvement, pricing, or communication style, but it doesn't dig deeply enough to understand your customer's motives and deeper needs. The interaction strategy may or may not include associating an individual company team member with a social media brand. Often, many team members are involved in the transaction, but the customer rarely remembers who they are. A social media strategy that focuses on engagement is all about building mutually beneficial relationships. You seek to understand the deeper motivations of your audience, to discover the brand promoters among your users, and turn unhappy customers into brand fanatics who drive traffic to you, advise you on improving service processes, and enhance the quality of your product. Often, an engagement approach involves a tightly knit team of voices who become well known to your target audience as individual personalities. They may act as the face of your brand on other platforms, speaking at conferences, or engaging with focus groups to personalize the company, moving away from the faceless entity and toward the trusted friend. Your strategy will determine your tactical approach to social media. Interaction requires more investment than does broadcasting, and engagement spreads well beyond the internet. It's a reflection of the organizational culture. If you're doing it right, the engagement model can provide valuable feedback to improve how you serve and increase your market share. What are the operational requirements for each of our three strategies? Broadcasting requires the fewest resources. You can literally automate it so that when you post a press release to your website, a tweet or post is automatically created and fired out to the world. The rules of traditional PR apply, so aside from the initial effort to create a dissemination mechanism, your current headcount can execute it. Interaction involves assigning a specific person or team to watch the social media stream, identifying opportunities to respond, and taking action to do so. Part of the job involves aggregating and analyzing what is being said and providing senior leadership with a summary. The size of your customer service team is dependent on the volume of traffic you expect and the response time standard you set. An engagement approach may lead to identifying a group of evangelists who have distinct and popular personalities. Readers know them by name, and they know many of the readers by name too. They are often interviewed in the press about your social media effort and sit at the strategy table as valuable voices that provide input on the future direction of your overall efforts. Which strategy is right for you? It all depends on your objectives. Traditional news organizations tend to be broadcasters. They may seek feedback, but gather it through more traditional means, via a comment section on their website. Interactors are an extension of your customer service team. They usually work on shifts and handle customer issues using legacy support tools, filling out trouble tickets, pointing people to online knowledge bases and FAQs, and providing updates as needed. When the ticket closes, the relationship ends until the next incident. Engagement is the approach that visionary companies take. They see every customer as a focus group. They want to understand the whole person and their motivations for engaging. It's much harder work to take this road, and your investment can be exponentially greater. But when you look at the companies that do it well, Southwest Airlines and Comcast are two good examples, you'll quickly see that the ROI can be substantial.
Let us now discuss the merits and demerits of written communication. One advantage to using written form of communication is that written messages do not have to be delivered on the spur of the moment. Instead, they can be edited and revised several times before they are sent so that the content can be shaped to maximum effect. Another advantage is that written communication provides a permanent record of the messages and can be saved for later study. Since they are permanent, written forms of communication also enable recipients to take more time in reviewing the message and providing appropriate feedback. For these reasons, written forms of communication are often considered more appropriate for complex business messages that include important facts and figures. Other benefits commonly associated with good writing skill include increased customer or client satisfaction, improved inter-organizational efficiency, and enhanced image in the community and industry. There are also several potential pitfalls associated with written communication. However, for instance, unlike oral communication wherein impressions and reactions are exchanged instantaneously, the sender of written communication does not generally receive immediate feedback to his or her message. Merits of written communication. It ensures transmission of the information in uniform manner. It provides a permanent record of communication for further reference. It is an idealistic way of conveying long messages. It ensures little risk of unauthorized alteration in the message. It tends to comprehensive, obvious, and accurate. It is well suited to express messages to a large number of persons at the same time. Demerits of written communication. Written communication does not save upon the cost. It costs huge in terms of stationery and manpower employed in writing, typing, and delivering the letters. Also, if the receivers of the written messages are separated by distance and if they need to clear their doubts, the response is not spontaneous. Effective written communication requires great skills and competencies in language and vocabulary use. Poor writing skills and quality have a negative impact on organizations' reputation. Let us now talk about the planning business messages. Every small businesses need to understand the critical importance of planning, writing and distributing a good business message. A business message is a specific type of business communication that attempts to communicate a corporation's inherent values, corporate identity and public relations images to the buying consumer, clients or other businesses. A business needs to know how to strategically start planning a business message before the business message is sent out to the public or business community. First, we need to begin by understanding the three most important steps of planning a good business. Planning the business message, followed by writing the business message and finished by completing and distributing the business plan. These are all important steps in one of the process of business messages in business public relations. Second, the small business must analyze the specific business situation in which the company will be communicating the business message we have planned. The situation will influence the message tone and corporate vocabulary when planning and writing the business message. A business message delivered to the company board of governors will be much more formal and involve more through technical research and insight statistics than a business message that is sent out to the consumers when they order one of the business products. Third, company must choose a specific business message format. The business message format in which the business message is written will affect both how it is sent and how it is critically received. The business message we are planning can be conveyed in various forms, including written form, visually and audibly. Did you know the most probable explanation is that the script was inspired by Spain's written annexation proclamation in 1770. Now, in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. Written communication provides records of future references. This is a major advantage as a single message can be sent through mail to many people. Every small business needs to understand the critical importance of planning, writing and distributing a good business message. While written communication affords greater flexibility since it can be edited and both composed and read at the leisure or at one's pace. Effective written communication is essential for preparing worthy promotional materials for business developments. Written communication is time-consuming as the feedback is not immediate. The encoding and the sending of message takes time.